So this video is going to talk about what to do when you have grouping symbols in an equation. And a lot of people make a really common mistake here. So here's the grouping symbol, right? Here's the parentheses. It's doing grouping. It's saying 3x plus 2. And here's what a lot of people do. A lot of people say, all right, well, I've got to get the x away from the left. There's an x over here and there's two x's over here. By the way, this is wrong, so just pay attention because it's a common mistake. So minus x, and then they say, okay, 3, well, I got rid of the x, so I guess I have 2 here, equals 2 times x minus x is just x plus 8. And then some people will do the following. They'll say, oh, this looks like multiplication. 3 times 2 equals 6. 6 equals x plus 8. And then subtract 8 from both sides, and you get x equals negative 2. You can probably see that that doesn't work, right? If I try to substitute negative 2, 3 times negative 2 plus 2 equals 2 times negative 2 plus 8. Over here we have negative 2 plus 2. Well, that's 0. 3 times 0 equals 2 times negative 2 is negative 4. Negative 4 plus 8. So we get 0 equals 4. Clearly not correct. So this is not right, right? Subtracting x from both sides doesn't work. So let's talk about what actually is happening here. And I think it's a good idea to think about the pouches and coins. If we think about this, the left side, let's parse this. This is 3 times x plus 2. 3 times x plus 2. So in other words, this x plus 2 we could represent as a pouch and 2 coins, right? This is x plus 2, right? A pouch and 2 coins. We're multiplying it by 3, so there's actually 3 of them. So I'm just going to copy. I'm going to duplicate. There it is, and I'll duplicate it again. So here we go. 1, 2, 3 x plus 2's, and that all equals 2x, or 2 pouches, plus 8 coins. I don't need the plus there. And then let's talk about solving that. We solve that by getting rid of 2 of the pouches. So now we have just 1 pouch, and 6 coins equals 8 coins, and we can get rid of these 6 coins. 1, 2, 3, and we get 1 pouch equals 2 coins. In other words, x equals 2. Let's just test that, just make sure that that actually is correct. So 3 times 2 plus 2 equals 2 times 2 plus 8. 2 plus 2 is 4, so 3 times 4 equals 4 plus 8. We get 12 equals 12. Yes, that is actually correct. So the key here is to recognize, let's go back, let's kind of erase what we had here, right? I'm going to erase that, 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 right? This 3 times x plus 2, this 3 times x plus 2 is 3 of these things. 1, 2, 3. So if I write it out down here, right, it would be x plus 2, x plus 2, x plus 2, or 3x plus 6. Now, bells should be ringing in your head right now, because what we're doing is the distributive property, which hopefully that sounds familiar, right? We learned about that during accentuate the negative. It means that we have a multiplication and we're distributing it into a group, an addition problem. So it's 3 times x plus 2. So what that means is that 3 times x plus 2 is the same as 3 times x plus 3 times 2. If you remember, we kind of thought about it as a rectangle. You may or may not remember this. X and 2, and here's the 3. So we can either think of it as 3 times x plus 2, or we can think of it as 3 times x plus 3 times 2, or 3 times x plus 6. 3 times x plus 6. So that's how you want to actually solve this problem. You want to solve this problem whenever you have a grouping. This is sort of the summary. If I had to do a very short summary, and I'll talk about this in the video where I talk about more complicated problems. If you have a problem with a distributive property, you want to use the distributive property. You want to distribute the multiplication. So this becomes 3 times x plus 3 times 2. Right? So 3 times x plus 3 times 2, which is 6, equals 2 times x plus 8. And now we can go ahead and do what we normally do when we're solving a problem, right? Subtract 2x, subtract 2x. We get x plus 6 equals 8. And then we can subtract 6, and we end up with x equals 2. That's our solution. We already tested it, so we don't have to test it again. So again, the key to summarize is when you see a grouping symbol like this, you want to use the distributive property, distribute the multiplication, and then go ahead and subtract out the pouches, the x's, or subtract out the numbers, or whatever you want to do. That's the idea.